Good day, everyone. So, what I wanted to talk about today is the ongoing war between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Yes, Azerbaijan and Armenia are at war. Probably missed it because of some of the ongoing issues that have allowed this to kind of fly under the radar. But just a brief synopsis on Armenia and Azerbaijan. There are two former Soviet republics that separated from the Soviet Union, as did other former Soviet republics in the 90s. And soon after declaring themselves nation states, they went to war over this area here. It's called Nagorno-Karabakh. And during this war, the Armenians won and seized control of Nagorno-Karabakh, which had a hefty population, about 150,000 Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh. And here is the capital of Nagorno-Karabakh, which is predominantly Armenian, with about 55,000 living there. Heavily mountainous area, less mountains to the south than in the central Nagorno-Karabakh. So over the past 20 years, Azerbaijan has been building up its armed forces with the help of Israel and Turkey. Most recently, Turkey has been supplying significant assets in terms of medium altitude, long endurance drones equipped with the MAM-L missile, or the MAM-L missile. These drones have great optics and the great data links, and obviously the precision guided missile, the MAM-L, is being used to great effect currently in the war against Armenia. Azerbaijan, about 60,000 men. Armenia, about 45,000, with this semi-independent republic of Nagorno-Karabakh having 20,000. But again, they're basically one and the same. Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh is heavily influenced by Armenia. So on Sunday, the Azeris, I'll call the Azerbaijanis the Azeris, launched a massive offensive along the entire Nagorno-Karabakh front with a focus of launching major attacks into the south, where it is not so mountainous. So given the Azeris' ability to procure advanced precision-guided munitions have really helped them in this current escalation. Now the Armenians receive the majority of their support from Russia, but the equipment that Russia gives the Armenians is simply not as advanced as what they receive from Turkey and Israel, because Azerbaijan is an oil-producing state with a defense budget of about $3 billion plus, and Armenia $600 million. So Armenia just doesn't have the economic means to procure some of these systems that Azerbaijan is purchasing. Now, Armenia has been able to obtain the Iskander missile, which is a short-range ballistic missile that could hit targets all the way to the capital of Baku. We could also possibly see the Russians intervene in a manner that is somewhat clandestine, kind of like how the Turks are operating right now. We don't know how extensive the Turkish involvement is, but we know definitely that they are getting drones, and we don't know for sure if other assets are being used as well, and that would mean F-16s or even Turkish special forces on the ground, which is highly likely. So how do I see all this playing out? I think as the Azeris venture into these mountainous areas to try and seize control, possibly of the capital of Nagorno-Karabakh, this is what the Armenians do best, fighting in the hills and mountains, which they have done for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Armenians live in a very tough neighborhood. Turkey to the south, and obviously they've had significant issues with Turkey, going back to the Armenian genocide, and then obviously issues with Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is predominantly Muslim, be it a secular form of Islam, and Armenia is predominantly Christian. So there's that natural issue that tends to raise its ugly head in terms of religious differences. So I think, again, as the Azeris or the Azerbaijanis continue to penetrate into these mountains, they're going to take heavier and heavier casualties. Another thing that is going to hamper the Azeris or the Azerbaijanis is that they are in fact a dictatorship. So the Aliyev family dynasty has run the country since it separated from the former Soviet Union, and traditionally non-democratic states have politicized military. So for instance, you could have a very good combatant commander who does not like the regime, so that combatant commander will no longer be a combatant commander. A person who fits the regime and who loves the regime and who may not be a good combatant commander would then be given command authority within the government, and that tends to degrade the capabilities of the nation. Now, the Armenians, while officially a democratic nation, they've had a cronyistic semi-dictatorship up until 2018. So they're just making really their first foray into a true democratic state. The level of transparency in terms of reporting seems to be on a higher level in terms of, again, transparency and honesty. Armenia reports daily on combat fatalities and they release names. The Azeris have not done that yet. The reason the Azeris probably have not done that yet is because they are taking very heavy casualties, and under a dictatorial regime, when the military starts to lose, that is not good for the dictator. So traditionally you will see less transparent reporting, but eventually the rooster will come home to roost, and when sons don't show back up into Baku, questions are going to get asked. I don't think Aliyev and Azerbaijan has a choice but to continue to press this, because if they don't re-seize control of Nagorno-Karabakh, that would mean this army returns home in defeat, and that does not bode well for Aliyev, the dictator of Azerbaijan. On the Armenian side of things, these guys have always been tough fighters. They're undergoing full mobilization now. It's going to be a tough fight, but I think the long game supports Armenia. Now, the only difference would be that Azerbaijan has a population of 10 million, Armenia has a population of 3 million, and depending on the size of losses Armenia incurs, the Azeris could probably sustain more losses, greater losses, for a greater amount of time because of their population level, which is about 3 times greater than Armenia. But we'll see what happens. I really believe that as attrition continues on the Azeri side, I don't think they're going to be able to penetrate deeply into these mountainous areas and win. I just don't. I think you're going to continue to see they're going to use their precision-guided munitions and their drones, which are definitely taking a toll on the Armenians. But the Armenians will probably learn to adapt to those systems. Is it going to be a bloody affair? Yes. How long will it be? Could go on for quite some time, but we'll see. Anyway, that's my take on Azerbaijan and Armenia. Stay tuned for more videos. See you guys.